According to my guidebook, Agrigento is visited for the majestic ruins of the ancient city. And 80 years on, they still exert their magnetism. My Bradshaws urged me to take the road past the Church of San Nicola and to turn to the east towards the Temple of Juno. And this is my gateway to the Valley of the Temples, one of the great archaeological sites in the world, a showcase of the Greek and Roman worlds which shaped Europe, which gave us not only our architecture, but also our laws, our languages, and our arts. In short, what it is to be civilized. Now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the magnificent Doric temples of the Valle dei Templi are a reminder that Agrigento was once a Greek colony and one of the most important cities in the Mediterranean. Here to tell me about the city's illustrious past is guide Lorenzo Capraro. Lorenzo, this is a wonderful place. I'm so pleased to be here, and I'm seeing so many temples. Why is there such a concentration of them here?
Well, the Greeks, they were looking for land. Sicily was like the American dream. We're looking for a place where to live and grow wheat, making wine, olive oil, and they realized this is a special spot. And the Greeks made a new city.
This spectacular building, tell me about that.
Okay, this is the Concordia Temple. It's dating back 430 BC and is one of the 3 best Greek Doric temples still existing in the world. And why this is still standing? Because the Greeks built it, and 2 centuries later, the Romans restored, and then the Byzantine, the 6th century AD, they converted into a Christian church. And the Normans, the men from the north, they use it as a church. And until the 1700s, it was a church. So maintenance, maintenance, and maintenance. That's why the columns are still there standing and never collapse.
What else is visible from here?
Okay, to your right, on the very top of the hill, the so-called Temple of Hera. And to your left, the Temple of Hercules. And facing us, the valley where the Greeks lived.
I'm stunned, both by the beauty of the temples and by the fact that they've survived.
Michael, because you're coming from Britain, there is something special that I want to show you. This is Sir Alexander Hardcastle.
And what is his connection with Agrigento?
It's a very important connection. He came here in 1921 and he felt in love for this beautiful archaeological area. Straight when he saw the temples, he said, this is the place where I'm going to live and I will rebuild. I will sponsor the diggings and I will look for the theater in Agrigento.
Hardcastle was an ardent amateur archaeologist who threw himself into his work, beginning with the restoration of the nearby Temple of Hercules. Lorenzo, it's very beautiful. Tell me about the Temple of Hercules.
This is dating back about 520 BC, and this is the first temple with columns built in the city.
And what condition was it in before Hardcastle was here?
Well, the columns next to us were totally collapsed. On the opposite side, one column standing, but these columns next to us, they were totally collapsed, and our castle rebuilt it.
But it was Hardcastle's 10-year search for Agrigento's long-lost Greek theatre that was his real passion.
A big disappointment was that Alexander Hardcastle never found the theatre, but here we are.
This is the theatre?
Yes, this is the theatre. And he was very sad and disappointed that he never found. But why? You know, we have a very old document dating back the 1500s AD, and he mentioned that not far from St. Nicholas Church, over there, it was the theatre. But many people, including Alexander Hardcastle, they start to dig in this area next to the church. But not far doesn't mean next. Not far means in a distance. And this is the distance where, 2016, we found the theater.
2016, it's just been discovered.
Exactly, and this is extraordinary.
Lorenzo, thank you. This has been really fascinating for me.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
The history of theatre in Agrigento certainly doesn't end with the Greeks. One reason for coming to Agrigento is to find out about the playwright Luigi Pirandello. I'm a character in search of an author. Michele, what a wonderful theatre.
Yes, indeed.
Isn't it beautiful? I'm at the Teatro Pirandello to meet Michele Gallo, an expert on this theatre. I have come to talk to you about Pirandello. Tell me who he was.
He was a writer from Agrigento. He was a genius who wrote many plays. The most famous one, The Six Characters in Search of an Author.
Six Characters was written in 1921, the year before Mussolini came to power. We're going to see something here today. What is the concept of Six Characters in Search of an Author? What's he doing to theatre?
Well, with this play, he's breaking all the conventions and norms about theatre. He's breaking the fourth wall, the wall between the audience and the auditorium.
Someone's coming on stage now.
Chieda! C'è nessuno?
Siamo dei personaggi in cerca d'autore.
Ma qui non c'è nessun autore perché non abbiamo in prova nessuna commedia nuova.
So what is Pirandello exploring here? What sort of psychological drama is this?
The drama of the characters is that the author who created them didn't finish their story. So they're looking for an author who can finish it.
Ma mi facciano il piacere di andar via, che non abbiamo tempo da perdere con I pazzi noi.
This is quite a challenging play, even now, in the 21st century. It was presented first about 100 years ago. What was the reaction of the audience then?
The audience were furious, and there were riots, and the riots actually continued outside the theater, in the streets of Rome. Most of the people were against Pirandello and shouted, manicomio, manicomio, madhouse, madhouse.
Ma mi facciano il piacere di andar via, che non abbiamo tempo da perdere coi pazzi.
Pirandello was attacked not only for the form of his plays, but also for his politics. It was a very difficult time for artists in 1920s, 1930s, during the dictatorships in Europe. How did Pirandello relate to the dictatorship in Italy?
Well, he made a public speech supporting Mussolini and was given a membership card. He became a fascist.
Why was he a supporter of Mussolini? I would expect an artist to be on the left.
Mussolini actually wanted to make Italy great again, and that was an idea that appealed to Pirandello.
Did Pirandello ever diverge from Mussolini?
Yes, his work was actually against the fascist regime. You know, his ideas, you know, even this play, The Six Characters in Search of an Author, is about a family that was not a fascist family. Actually, the father encourages his wife to have an affair with another man. It's not the fascist family.
It's not the fascist ideal, is it? This man from Agrigento, from Sicily, what impact does he have on world theatre?
He changed everything. He was a milestone in the history of theatre, and nobody can talk about theatre today without referring to Pirandello.
Grazie, grazie. Buonissimo. Grazie.